Senator Ron Johnson is introducing a bill to force President Biden to put his new Iran nuclear deal to a Senate vote. Okay, it would be voted on as a treaty with and only with the advice and consent of the Senate. So Senator Johnson joins us now. Thank you, sir. You know, Senator Johnson, I don't know how they got away with this the first time, whenever it was, 2015. But this is a treaty, and you have to have senatorial advice and consent. I assume that's what you're driving at here.
I sure think so, and I actually offered an amendment in 2015 when we were debating the JCPOA. Yeah, unfortunately, that should have passed 100-0 if senators are really doing their job, but that was actually defeated with Republican senators joining in Democrats to defeat it. Makes no sense to me. You know, one of the main considerations from the Foreign Affairs Manual is, does an agreement involve commitments or risks affecting the whole nation? I would argue that's exactly what's happened with the JCPOA and any agreement we do with Iran. So this pretty simple bill just says it would deem any agreement as a treaty, and the Biden administration could not lift any sanctions until the Senate voted whether to ratify that treaty.
Will you get Republican support this time, Senator? You think the GOP has learned?
I believe so. Last go-around, we were trying to pass some bipartisan bill that was going to, I guess, provide Congress some information. Of course, it was completely useless. And it is true, Iran did change their behavior in reaction to the JCPOA. They changed it for the worse. They became emboldened. They spent those $100 billion plus beefing up their military and becoming and remaining the largest state sponsor of terror.
And they're enriching uranium left and right. We know that. They may be up to 60% now. We know that. I think you're going to get help on the Democrat side. Has the administration already told you, front channel or back channel, that they will oppose your advice and consent?
Well, I asked Secretary Blinken when you had him before a committee, and he just pretty well blew it off. Thought, oh, no, this is just an executive agreement. That's the way the last one was. That's the way we view this one. So, no, trust me, the administration does not want to submit any agreement to the Senate because they know that anything to negotiate wouldn't even come close to being ratified by the Senate. And that's the point. Those agreements, they are so important. They do involve U.S. national security. They should be negotiated to benefit America. And if an administration can't get the support of the Senate, it shouldn't be doing the deal.
Absolutely. Let me switch gears slightly, but I do want to stay in the Senate, sir. Editorial this morning in the Journal, Elizabeth Warren's IRS entitlement. Now, we talked about weaponizing the IRS and going after conservatives and the great memory of Lois Lerner, etc. Now, however, Senator Warren wants to triple the IRS budget in order to go after waitresses and rich people, I suppose. The great part of it, triple the budget, she wants it to become a mandatory entitlement, so it won't have to be appropriated every year, maybe be financed by the Federal Reserve's interest earnings on all the debt that they're buying left and right. And, of course, this is all aimed at going after wealthy people. Now, Senator, let me just add one thing. You know about the leak to ProPublica that came from the IRS, which is, a terrible thing. Chris Edwards of Cato has shown that ProPublica is just wrong, that their numbers are rigged and fixed. Now, we've got some numbers on the full screen. I hope people can see it. Wealthiest people, according to, let's see, CBO, the wealthiest, 24%. The IRS, the wealthiest, pay 23%. The top 1/1000th pay 23%, vastly more than the rest of everybody else. So the ProPublica numbers were ginned up off of that IRS leak to help the campaign to raise taxes on successful earners. Now, this business about making the IRS an entitlement, Senator Johnson, what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, let's just acknowledge what I believe is true. In Democrat administrations, they use the IRS and they weaponize it against their political opponents. They did it, again, when they denied tax-exempt treatment to conservative groups, Lois Lerner. They were able to do it with impunity. Nobody was prosecuted. Nobody paid a price. Lois Lerner was able to retire on her big, fat government pension. So fast forward now the Biden administration, and lo and behold, all of a sudden there are leaks out of the IRS of wealthy Americans' tax returns, which is completely illegal. but timed exquisitely to tie into the debate that we'll have here around Joe Biden's grotesquely deficit spending budget, which also will include the largest tax increase in history. So again, these things aren't coincidences. This is Democrat administration's policies. And so the last thing you'd ever want to do is really take the IRS outside of congressional oversight by basically making its appropriation on automatic pilot through the Federal Reserve, like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Actually, that's right. That's how she financed that stupid thing, which undoubtedly did more harm than good. Senator Johnson, one last one. It's an unfair question, which is why I know you can handle it. Can you and will you just beat all the Biden taxes and spendings? I don't care about real hard infrastructure. You want to put another $500 or $600 billion into that, fine. But I'm talking about everything else. The tax hikes, sir, the social spending, and all the rest of it. Can you just beat it right now? Here we are in, mid-June? How does it look to you?
Well, Larry, I'm afraid not. As long as Democrats are united, they're going to be able to pass this through reconciliation. Certainly my advice is that the Republican conference position should be we should approve no new or agree to vote for no new spending unless all it does is repurpose the $707 billion that was in the out years from the $1.9 trillion. We shouldn't do a separate deal that's more deficit spending because that just opens up more room for larger deficit spending, bigger tax increases, and budget reconciliation.
Thank you, Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. See you soon, sir. Thanks for everything.